Did you want waffles?
Hello and welcome to Warlocks and Waffles. Welcome to the show, everybody. We're having minor issues over here because Judy and I started this morning by just absolutely roasting the shit out of each other, and it hasn't stopped. And Judy decided to launch one at me right before we went live. Welcome to the show.
Hey. Morning, everybody.
Oh man, I'm ready. Junie, how was your week, bud?
It was all a blur. I realized that I have like 45 million notifications that I need to go through.
That's too many.
So it's a lot. It's my phone's breaking. It's just being crushed under the weight of notifications. That's not even how they work. That's not even how that it's supposed to happen. My phone is just bad. And then I got really excited for today because like I sent it to you today that I'm accepting that I'm a morning person. And
Yeah.
This whole time I've just been in denial because I'm like, no, screw that. Nerds are morning people. I don't know what I was thinking. I just didn't want to accept it.
You is a nerd.
Don't. Hey, hold on. Don't.
Can't start it now.
Don't you start it right now. We'll go back and forth. Let's go to Hunter goes too real. I'll say something like, "Look, his table's brown," and then he will hit real deep. But anyway, but I'm just it's snowing where I'm at. It's when and everybody is having a snow day. All the schools are closed and whatnot, and it's just gonna be snowing all day. So I have that childlike excitement because it looks like it's gonna be more than like a powder. You know what I mean? I can't remember last time we've had like a snow, like a full day of actual snow around where I'm at.
Yeah. We have like 6 inches somewhere around there right now.
Already?
Yeah. We got
wow.
we got a bunch of snow the other day. And it hasn't really melted yet.
Oh wow.
So yeah.
We got maybe 2 inches the other day and then it melted. And that was like 2 inches over like a long snowing period. Like that's what we got. So now I'm like, today is gonna be 5 or 6, maybe by 10 tonight. Like
Right.
that's what we might get.
That's
So I'm excited to go out
snowman
there.
making. Like that's enough
Right?
to actually do something with. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It was wet snow. I took my kid out and it was just wet snow. They were happy, but I was like, this is depressing snow. It's just like this is barely real snow right here. But you don't know the better.
My dog's fur is just long enough right now where when he goes out, if he's out there for long enough, he comes back in and there's just snowballs caked all over him, into his fur.
Okay.
It's very entertaining to watch. Because if he has enough of them, he comes back in and he's just like,
oh god,
because
inundated with
all
snow?
of his arms, like his legs, have like snowballs just all stuck into his armpits and stuff. He's a precious little baby, but also the angriest old man. And he doesn't like the snow. He will avoid it if at all possible. He likes there is enough snow right now that he will just shit on the porch because he doesn't want to walk down the steps into the snow.
I had a Chihuahua, and he did the same thing where he would like he's like, why go out? He was small, like anything more than an inch or two would be
Hmm.
like he's like in like what is it? Max from the Grinch. Like he
Yeah.
would have just been like digging through. And I mean, it sucks. We make dogs go out barefoot in the snow in most cases. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like I would also not want to go barefoot outside and put my body all up in there to do
I
this.
I also don't enjoy being barefoot in the snow trying to poop. Like that sounds uncomfortable. We're off to a weird start. There's a weird
It's a
energy.
weird energy. It's a weird energy.
We've
Hunter mistreats his dog. It's weird. You know.
how
It's
dare you?
what? What are you talking about?
Oh man.
It's in the outline. Shame dog. I don't understand. That's weird.
Um
I don't know why you did that. So it's a snow day, right? It's a snow day for a lot of people here on the East Coast, anyway. And so we're gonna talk about snow day stuff.
yeah.
Uh, it's gonna be just chill. We got hats, the cozy warm hats, thanks to Rosie,
My hat
and
is
we're just
velcroed onto my head because there's just enough hair on my head that it launches or it prevents it from moving.
mine is barely hanging on because my hair is just like just forcing it off of me.
Just
But
gonna just gonna make it flop to the side there.
nice. Okay. So Hunter, if it's a snow day,
Yes.
I don't know if it like I don't know what your family situation today is where you're gonna be like, let's whip out board games or anything like that. But maybe when you were a kid or something, what would a snow day if it wasn't all outside fort building and stuff like that? What would a snow day look like for you?
Here's the thing,
Would it
man.
be games or
This
would
is
it be whoa?
this is not a this is a bad topic for me.
Oh dear God.
I was homeschooled. Snow days meant
Hmm.
nothing. I don't have to go anywhere to go to school. So if it snowed, it's still school. Like there's no snow day just means
They
that
wouldn't.
after school we can go out in the snow. Um
So there was no pity like, well, everybody else has off school, so you get off school today too. It was just like
no, not at
nothing's
all.
changed for us.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just a Tuesday. Like the maybe we take like a extended break or something during the day and then go out and like play in it for a little bit, but for the most part it's going to be just a regular day.
Business as usual.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
it was
just
always
like work
like,
from home. Yeah. It
yeah.
means nothing.
Would you well, what about now with well, yeah, actually, yeah, it's gonna be the same thing. You work from home.
I
So it's
work
not
from
like you
home.
could be like, yeah, yeah. So it's gonna be like, let's give yourself permission with adult money and adult time.
Mhm.
Uh, you just like flip the table, it's like, screw this. Like I was looking up like, games to play,
Mhm.
like, and Animal Crossing was like automatically on the top of the list, like a cozy, just like cozy games, stuff like that.
Mhm.
If you had to like just curl up. Um, I showed you some of the random things that came up because one of the games you could play on a snow day is just called Dance Party, and that's just apparently where you just dance.
Yeah.
Uh,
I looked at the list you sent me.
yeah,
From my understanding, most of this is just like things you could do inside. Like
yeah, that it
you
was like
searched
snow
games to
day, like
play and it's like freeze tag and it's like no, that's not
it's
that's a bad
it's
choice.
it's pretty much like if you are trapped
My
inside with your
video is
children.
lagging like crazy.
Oh no. This man out of sync with his voice.
I will destroy you.
I know you will. I have to take them. Luckily, we're in public now, so
Oh man.
we're in public now. So it's like I was like, maybe he'll hold back, and I'm like, I know he won't. But something that came up that I forgot about. Hunter, look, he full gone now. Uh, how many times have you I don't know if this applies to you, maybe it's
Uh-huh.
just me. How many times have you bought Skyrim?
Ooh,
Have you had to buy it more than once in your life?
I have bought it twice.
Okay.
I bought it on Xbox 360.
Same.
Um, and I bought it on Steam. But on Steam, I actually found it at, I think, Target. Um, I think it was like a Black Friday sale, but I never went out Black Friday shopping. So it must have been like a leftover sale after Black Friday. Um,
Okay.
but it was a collector's case that had like all of the Elder Scrolls games in it. And then like the maps of the different areas and stuff like that, and it was this like collector's box. But then it had the like all of the different Elder Scrolls games for PC, and they were just like Steam codes that you could download.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um
Alright.
so I had that. And that was great. Yeah, I've put a ton of time into Skyrim. Um before Baldur's Gate 3, Skyrim was absolutely the game that had taken the most time from me. Um let's see here.
I had some friends that went hard body into the other Elder Scrolls, so, like, I knew how deep the rabbit hole could be.
Mhm.
I also never beat Skyrim. I sunk a lot of hours into it when it was on 360, and you know what? The more I'm thinking about it now, you know what it is? I think it's because I was so traumatized by all my Nintendo games. I kept buying Mario Kart and kept buying Smash Brothers,
Mhm.
like, for whatever the Nintendo console was or my Switch or my DS or something like that,
Mhm.
that I think by the time I was like, "I have bills," I think I had told myself, "Don't buy Skyrim again," because then I was gonna buy it for my Switch, I was gonna buy it for my PC, and I was gonna buy it
Yeah.
again and again, and then I was just like, "It's not like I'm continuing the same save from
Right.
over here to over
Yeah.
here," you know what I mean? And it's like, "Oh, no, I'm restarting it again, and again,
Yeah.
and again."
Yeah, Skyrim
So
Skyrim was great. I liked Skyrim a lot. The modding community for Skyrim is insane.
mhm.
I love that game. It's very, very good. I have finished it many times. Um I pulled
What's
up
it like to finish a game? Like, finishing games, man, that sounds nice.
I pulled Skyrim up on Steam just to see how many hours I had put into it. And like as far as Steam is concerned, which I feel like this is wrong. I feel like I've played more than this. And this also doesn't factor in like my Xbox hours on it. But I've played 284 hours of Skyrim on my computer. Um to and I was like, "Oh, that's a lot." But I also know that Baldur's Gate I'm at like around 500. So like I clearly have enjoyed Baldur's Gate more than Skyrim. I've put so much time into it, and I've been playing it for way less time than I have had Skyrim.
That's wild. And I know that's real because I know you're actually playing. Me, I know that if I'm playing like Pokemon, I'm like, oh, the hour counter is 60, or if I'm
Mhm.
playing like anything that has like or Baldur's Gate, it's like something. I'm like, I have to know that maybe less than 10, maybe 20 hours of that is me having fallen asleep. Me just there, like, and then I blink, and then I'm like, has 10 minutes passed? Did I do that more than once? Am I just, like, nodding off periodically because I just "No, I gotta do this. I gotta do the one thing. I refuse." Friggin' um, alright. Do you know any other games that you would now as an adult, if you let's say, like, full blown, you were like, "Oh, right now, I would wanna play blank." Or
Baldur's
just
Gate
be
3.
Baldur's Gate? It would just be Baldur's Gate. Okay.
Baldur's Gate is the thing that takes the vast majority of my time. And like it is, it has enough content in it that I am not bored of it. And so I just keep playing it. And now that Grace is playing it as well, we have like our playthrough that we are going through and moving through the story with as well, which is a ton of fun. I'm trying to think of what else. We went on a kick for a little while where we were playing Decorum, which is a board
Mhm.
game. Um,
Yeah.
we played that for a little while. We were moving through the like they have like a campaign mode that
Yeah,
you
I
can
know.
play on
Yeah,
the
I mean,
two player.
we're
Um,
about little half more than halfway on ours. We have it too. Yeah.
we played that for a while, and that was a lot of fun. And then let's see, we watch a lot of TV. Like we'll if we have nothing going on, we'll like choose a show and just start watching through it. Um, the show we're watching through right now is I am watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the first time.
Oh, okay.
I've never watched it, so I'm slowly watching through that. So we're like 6 episodes into the first season. But yeah, I'm slowly watching through that for the first time, which is very fun. C17R in the chat roasted me incredibly hard for having never seen it during a game the other day,
Oh,
a couple of weeks ago. The topic of that show came up, and the entire group just started absolutely roasting me, and so now we're watching it.
I see.
I'm watching it. Stop being upset. I'm working on it.
I'm
I've
gonna keep
watched
my
a lot of
words to my.
shit.
Yeah, 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 Hunter.
Previously, or the last show that we were watching was Schmigadoon, which is amazing, and I will sing its praises forever. It's a fantastic show. It's so good.
I don't know this one.
Schmigadoon is a an Apple TV show where they get stuck in this magical land it's just two regular
Mhm.
people, and then they get stuck in this magical land that is like in a musical, and they're just stuck in this musical and trying to escape. And it's very good. It follows a lot of the like tropes of different musicals and stuff, but the whole show is just very, very good. I love it immensely.
That's oh man.
Well,
I think we did Apple TV subscription and we let it expire without watching anything. We didn't take advantage of any of the stuff.
Ted Lasso and Schmigadoon are both Apple TV things, and both of them are incredible. Um, but yeah, they're so good. Um, Ted Lasso is the only show I think I've ever watched that like consistently made me cry. Like the show would be the episode would be amazing. I would be laughing so hard, and then all of a sudden I'd be like, "Oh no, I've been emotionally wrecked." It's like, why am I so invested in these characters?
So you have you have a special place in my heart because you've done two things. One, the reason I don't know how long ago it is. I'd have to check the tape. The reason we Shanice had gotten her upgraded her phone or something like that, so we had the Apple TV subscription. Remembered it is because you mentioned putting on Ted Lasso like in the background or something. You had said
Mhm.
something about Ted Lasso at some point, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Ted Lasso." And then we activated the thing, and then we never watched it. Right? And I was just like, "Oh, because I wanted to watch it." And right now it's like, "Oh wait, I'm gonna feel things." Never mind. I
it's
don't wanna cry because I know how easy it will be to make me cry.
it's
And now I'm
it's
just like,
so
"Oh,
good though.
no."
Because and
Oh,
you're
I'm
you're
sure it
right.
is,
You're
yeah.
right. I did start Ted Lasso as a background thing of just like, I'm gonna put this on my third monitor
Mhm.
and like I'll do work and have that playing. And I stopped after like episode 2 of having it be a background thing because I couldn't do work while it was on because it was so good. I had to watch it. I've met people that didn't enjoy it as well, but like I really
Hmm.
enjoyed the show. I wasn't anticipating being really invested in a show about soccer. I just wasn't.
I, I've I'm trying to think of the random things that have got me. So it's all anime based, but I think there was some golf show that I remember that hooked me, and then ever since then I was just like, there is no limits. As long as it's well done, it'll hook me.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like, like what is it? We get into cooking shows all the time and whatnot. Um Survivor was our latest binge
Survivor's good.
craziness.
I could go into a whole like a whole rant about there's a cooking show called Cutthroat Kitchen.
Hmm.
I love it so much. But snow days. That's what we're
Snow
talking
days.
about. Um and
Really?
like
Oh yeah.
snow
Hmm.
days. Snow days in games, right? So like
Hmm.
you said that when you pitched this idea, and I immediately started thinking about like, okay, what would that look like in a game? And for me, the what jumped out as being like immediately something that uh kind of stuck out to me. Um if there was a uh if there was a town that the adventurers had gone into and had like stayed in the tavern overnight, like they're on their way to something else,
Hmm.
and the GM just like needs more time to prep
Yes. Yep.
for that thing that they're going to, they could do a snow day adventure.
Hmm.
And what popped up for me was if I was running a game and I had my adventurers were staying in a tavern, and they are like waiting until morning to continue their journey, and then they wake up and there's been like a lot of snow. If there's been a foot of snow overnight, like for us now, if there's a foot of snow overnight, we have to wait for the plows to come through and like clear the roads and stuff like that. If it's a like a medieval fantasy world, like they have horse and wagon that they're gonna have to
Mhm,
go through. They could do it. It's gonna slow things down and be like a more treacherous route, I would imagine. I've not done
mhm,
research on what that looks like, but I would imagine that it's gonna be like worse. um and then the horses are going to be unpleasant. um like it,
the horses are gonna be
you're
unpleasant.
they're going to be unpleasant, so then you
They're jerk horses.
yeah
You're gonna make me go out here. You're gonna make me go out, how much snow is out here?
the horses are just roasting the adventurers. The guests speak with animals to like check in on the horse, and the horse is just like, I hate you. I hate you so much. Like what are we doing? You think you're light? Man, I saw you go for that second bowl of stew last night. Like I have to carry you through snow. Why don't you get off and walk? The But if they're staying in town, you can do a whole bunch of stuff in town of like this whole town kind of like coming alive in this snowstorm of like the kids playing out in the snow, and like the tavern has uh like needs your help carrying stuff from like the supply shed inside so that they can do stuff like they're the whole town is going to come together in the tavern for some like winter like festival thing. Like you could do so many
The
things.
snow day festival, this only happens when it snows very, very hard.
Yeah,
Like,
but
we
like
just
imagine
party.
imagine a like a small town coming together and having like a night at the tavern. Like I think that there's something very charming about that. Um, but yeah, I like the concept. You've had more thought into it than I have. What were your thoughts when you were kind of like thinking about snow day in game?
What if I may just recap the pitch from this morning. Everybody, this is once again, I've just embraced that I'm a morning person,
Just
and
so you can
or
see the energy that most of our shows start with. This is
I
the
do that for
tone.
hours before the show. Yeah, I'm here running on too many cylinders, right? So Hunter's like, "What?" And then I say, "Snow day," and then he says, "Snow day," and then I say, "Snow day," and then he says, "What do you mean?" And then I say, "Snow period day period." And he is barely awake.
Super unhelpful. And also I
Super.
like I
I'm
believe
waking up
like
my child because
two
I'm
messages.
laughing like hysterically while this is happening. He's there, it's just like, what? And I'm here like, I'm an asshole.
Well, also like two messages before that, I was like, hey, my brain's moving pretty slow this morning. I'm not feeling great, and you're like, I'm going to torment him. Wah!
See, I thought I was breaking it down for you, right? I thought I was boiling it down to
You
its
did
simplest
not.
points. I thought it was snow day. I don't know. It's I don't know how to describe snow. A
I
day, it's like
understood those
24 hours.
words.
Oh, I was trying to synthesize my thoughts into 2 words
Imagine a
for
day.
you.
Now imagine that day has snow. Would you not then have a snow day? And I'm like, what are you talking about? It is 7
You're
a.m. on a
you're
Friday.
welcome.
And
I've been up
I
for
just
3
want to know what
hours.
we're doing. Oh man.
So
Imagine a snow day that you can't even imagine. Imagine a day that's more day than any day has been, and there's snow. More snow than snow can be. It's the snowiest snow that could ever snow on a snow day. Um,
now
welcome,
imagine it.
welcome to Warlocks and Waffles, a TTRPG morning show. We're talking about snow days. I love the concept of, because you compared it in your like
I yeah,
little pitch
I
text to like,
yeah.
we've talked in the past about a beach episode,
A
which
beach episode, yeah, yeah.
to me, I think this is a very like they're the same general intention of, this is going to be a break from the ongoing thing. This is its own little like self-contained mini thing that we're going to do as a like a rest and a break from the
Mhm.
overarching story. But
But
they
the
have very
vibe is gonna be
vibe is very
different, yeah.
different.
Very different, yeah.
Beach day is like, we're if it's a beach episode, we're going to somewhere. We're going to
Mhm.
like up the energy. We're going to like have this like
Fun. Like,
fun
it's a
like
yeah, yeah.
fun vibes of like, we're shooting for like energy and excitement.
Mhm.
Whereas I think a snow day episode, there is that fun,
Well, what
but
you
a snow
described
day
something very
is
nice, yeah.
like, we're not going somewhere, we are staying somewhere.
Yes.
And it is a cozy and recovering episode. So snow day to
I
me is like,
I took it any both ways, because I was like,
it
"What if
could
it's
go both,
bad?"
it could go
Because
both ways. Oh, for sure.
being snowed in is like, you described it with like, okay, there's, we can't travel via wagon. In my
Mhm.
head, I was like, well, how would we get around? Like, would I allow water walk and like let people like walk on the snow easier type of situation,
You
right?
cast walk on water on the horse and just have it
Yeah,
like
like I
drag a
feel like that's what I would
sleigh.
have to
Yeah.
exactly. But like it's something where it's I played a lot of Icewind Dale, so like
Sure.
almost like, oh, being stuck in a blizzard, like that's almost when you can have an Among Us situation. It's a snow
Mhm.
day. We're all trapped. Are we trapped in here with them? Are they trapped in here with us? So it's just like
Oh,
can be cozy.
you went
Eh, uh,
way the opposite direction. Yeah.
because I'm thinking of like, what if you don't have amenities, electricity, and stuff like that? And I
Sure.
was like, that can be very cozy and nice. And if you're with people, but then what if you're snowed in with people that you don't want to be? Or
Mhm.
um, I love when people waste time anyway in a game, and
Mhm.
then it's kind of like not you being a jerk and wasting their time, but it's giving them like a skill challenge or an obstacle that they have to overcome because if you do it right, you're acknowledging the world is still moving even though you're stuck in the snow.
Right.
You are snowed in here. It is a snow day for you, but that dragon's still going.
Mhm.
over there. You know that guy's still plotting. That guy's still like forging, whatever the situation is. So it's one of those things where do they just go, let's just rest and use this and kind of like recharge our batteries in a sense to like tackle the next bit with, you know, just in a better space. But then it's that risk reward situation where it's like, do we fight through the elements and try to, you know, tire ourselves out to make sure we do this in a timely fashion, or risk something happening that, you know, and outside the snow.
Mhm.
So I was just like, you know, I feel like there's the three things that it's fine, it's a break. The GM can use it as like a tool to go like, all right, we need some time, and they have that time. I can't give them a beach day right now, but what if I just snow them in? And
Right.
then it's like, well, something, you could be stuck in a bad way or stuck in a like, uh-oh, we need to slog through it, or the choice is there to slog through it. So it's like
Let me
it gives
run
you a lot of options. Yeah.
let me throw something at you. Cuz I like I like the concept of um like showing the danger of the storm. Um what if you do it where like they're on their way somewhere, right? They're on
Hmm.
their way to wherever they need to be going, and it starts snowing while they are on their way.
Hmm.
And it's getting worse and worse, and like they are in the middle of nowhere, like trudging through this. Like they can set up camp, but like if they set up camp, they're going to be like stuck in that
Hmm.
camp. Um like what are you doing? And they have to figure out a way to like, okay, well, we need to find somewhere to like hunker down for this. um and so then like you have them roll survival or nature or something like that.
Hmm.
um and they can find like a way to get to this little town. And
Hmm.
when they're at that town, then like they get into the town, get a room in the tavern or whatever, and the storm rages on. And then they have the cozy, like comforting vibe of
Hmm.
like being in this little town as the storm rages. Um and you give them the comfort of that. And then once they are like fully comfortable,
Hmm.
then things go wrong. And then once things have gone wrong, they are going to have to like, this town took them in and like protected them from the storm, and now they have to protect the town against something else that is like in the storm. um and then once that thing is done, then the storm is going to start easing up. They can like spend the rest of the day in the town doing like fun little snow day activities. I could absolutely see like the barbarian of the group getting in a snowball fight with the town kids. Like there's things that you can do as like
Wrecking kids,
just
just like
absolutely
bruises,
just
just
like
demolishing.
elf,
Yeah,
like
it's just
Buddy the
terrible.
elf from that one scene where he's just absolutely
Hmm.
annihilating
Yep.
children with snowballs.
Not hurting them, but just like, whoa, hey, you really need to tone it down a
Dealing
scooch, please.
dealing mostly emotional damage. um
Yeah.
but like I feel like if you do the like the storm is the threat. Okay,
Hmm.
you found a place to like be that is going to take you in, provide you like refuge from that storm. There's something else in the storm that is the threat. You need to protect the town against that thing. And then like you get to, then both the town and you get to like take comfort after that as the storm lets up. And then you can like head on your way. Like maybe you the in the morning, the town can like repair your wagon or like get a sleigh set up or something like that to be able
Hmm.
to allow you to travel more freely through the snow going forward. um
I,
like
I
there's
just had
there's there's a lot you can do with it.
I just had a whole ass village emerge in my brain because I just imagine coming up to like, like you'll see like a snowdrift or like a plow will pull up just a bunch of snow. You just
Yeah.
see a bunch of
Yeah.
piled up snow. I just imagine like seeing a bunch of piled up snow. You kind of see some trees, like
Hmm.
like, oh man, these snowdrifts are piled up to cover trees. You see the beginning of the trees, but then like one opening, one like big, almost like cave like opening that says "Welcome to Snow Day." Uh, and then you go through the tunnel, and it's a network of tunnels, and it was a village that just got snowed in, and they just tunneled to each building and each house, and almost
Ooh.
like, you know what I mean? But it's a
Yeah.
town,
It would
but
have
the
to be
snow
like
just
a.
didn't
It would
stop.
have to be like far
Yeah,
north. Like.
yeah.
Yeah.
But well, then also like the only other feature that really got me, if the snow was high enough, you see little whiffs of smoke because they've made little chimney
Little
holes,
chimneys.
and
Yeah.
it's just the little wisps of smoke that go through there. But when I was like, writing down the notes, and I was just like winter storm, and then I was like natural question mark, magic question mark, and then I
Hmm.
was like natural magic, wizard magic, because like it could be. What if it isn't far north? What if it's like, an industrial, like, it is water deep and then it's buried. You know what I mean? It's just like, we've been trying
Yeah.
to figure this out for the past 3 months right now. We got a lot of magic and technology and money to throw at this thing, but we don't wanna do that indefinitely.
It'd
You
be.
know what I mean? It's just like feet of snow.
It'd be fun to do. I haven't read through Rime of the Frost Maiden. My
Mhm.
understanding is the villain of
It's
Rime
an
of the
ever
Frost
yeah.
Maiden is like I'm going to freeze the world type of vibes, right?
She wants to freeze it in perpetual winter. She wants to keep
Right.
this beautiful and just frozen in this perpetual night.
So
So it's kinda like frozen in time type of thing.
it'd be interesting to run a campaign that is set uh after the events of Rime of the Frost Maiden where the heroes failed. And
Mhm.
so she has succeeded and like the world is
Oh, oh,
frozen in this
oh,
perpetual
no,
winter.
no, you don't understand. In Rime of the Frost Maiden, you're coming in and it's been like this for a few years.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the world, like it's expand
Oh,
like
she just
like
wanted that domain. She just wanted the there's like the northern mountains.
I
She just got
know,
that bit,
play
but
with me in
no,
the space.
no, but I'm imagining, yeah, like
Like
I'm saying,
imagine
like
Waterdeep,
how
like it's expanded like Waterdeep, Neverwinter. Like imagine Neverwinter is now stuck in perpetual winter.
well, it's wild to think, like, imagine
It's
you
just
set up a
it's
threat
also
and it's been a threat somewhere
can
else.
we talk about can we talk about like not
Uh-huh.
in depth, but can we talk about the fact that like if it's just this witch lady who is like I'm going to
Mhm.
freeze it in perpetual winter, like that is the plot of Narnia, like that is the plot of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe,
Yeah. Yeah, it is. You're right.
like that
Uh,
is the
like,
whole
it
shtick of the bad guy
it
of
is
that.
it is it is it is a small it is a minor god, and I would imagine what makes it so cool is because, like, whenever it's, like, deities like that, it's like if people follow them or something, like, they can get stronger,
Hmm.
and where Rime of the Frost Maiden, it's been a few years, people are, like, giving up hope and stuff like that, but
Hmm.
I can really see an instance of, well, if you can't beat them, join them type of situation,
Yeah.
and if it eventually turned to that, then that's the next logical step. Because the way, and this is the magic of, like, like, people are like, "Oh, you get locked in with modules and stuff like that," because it just says it like this, and then this is how you would go to stop it, or you can just not mess with her at all and just do adventures there. But if you were to follow something to its next logical point,
Hmm.
it would be, if you can't beat them, join them. Then if people were to support her, then she would get stronger, and then she would be able to expand.
Yeah.
And then it would be those city states to the just on the other side of the mountains, and then it would just be a roll down that sword coast.
Yeah.
And it's like you can see it coming, and there's like, and there's some big, like, if you're following that Faerun map, like, there's like some big, like, junctures before you get to Waterdeep. So it's kind of like, you can do it like stop it before it gets there? What's a slow roll, a slow burn? Is it like matter of months, years, decades? Like, timing and pacing can be like crazy. So it's just like, do you
Yeah.
how 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 much do you make, like, what is the pace of an icy threat?
Right.
Is it cold and creeping, or is it a flash freeze? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
because it
what's
could be either,
scarier?
right? I think
Yeah,
I think
what would be
it's
scarier?
I think it is like I would go based on seasons, right? Like so
Mhm.
the spring and summer like is a like it might be held at
Oh.
bay or like is a
Oh, that's
very
smart, yeah.
slow creep. But like as the fall starts coming, like that creep is going faster. And then
Oh,
when
oh
winter
my
hits,
god.
it's just like like it just
Oh, that's
capitalizes
horrifying.
on it already being like
Oh,
imagine
that's
imagine
scary.
it being like it was winter, every like things got bad in the area that she already controlled.
Mhm.
Spring happens and it's like this slow progression outward and they're like people are freaking out trying to hold it at bay, and then summer happens and it's like it stops, like it's held at bay, and they're like, oh okay, she's like she can't progress it any farther. And then fall begins and it starts like creeping out again, and they're like,
Oh my god.
oh no. And as fall is going, it's getting faster and faster, and the realization of winter is going to be here, and as soon as winter is
The
here,
first day of winter
like
is the snow day.
yeah, like
It's the
it's
day it's like it
everything.
becomes, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, man. I know,
um
ooh,
i'm
we're
also
so
i'm
smart.
also look at us, we're super
Yeah.
good at this. The I'm also just picturing like Chult just
Mhm.
encased in snow and ice, and like the damage that would cause to everything in Chult being this like lush like jungle environment just immediately like flash frozen. Like there's dinosaurs in Chult. They're not gonna do well. Like the ramifications of something like that would be huge. I love the
I
concept of taking a like a module and being like, okay, imagine that everything went wrong and like this
Mhm.
module happened, but the heroes didn't stop it.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
what does that mean? And you could even run like another module, but like
Mhm.
reskinned in the scope of like this one already happened and like took everything with it.
And then snowball fights, but,
And then
like,
snowball
just
fights.
every but e everything gets amped up at that point, so it's like
Mhm.
a snowball fight is like, you know, what was it? I think there is a snow like, I know there's, like, the snowball storm, but I feel like at some point I did see, like, a snowball, like essentially, like, snowball was like a firebolt cantrip, essentially,
Mhm.
like, it was like
Mhm.
a firebolt, and it just did, like, 1d6 it scaled the same way,
Yeah,
but it just did ice damage.
it's
Yeah.
like Snillock snowballs or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's like people have to learn how to fight with the winter, fight
Mhm.
with it, because you can only do so much. Uh, but does magical winter hit the same?
I
Because you know,
think
like there's when you go outside and it's cold, and you go
mhm.
outside and it's cold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there is
Yeah.
there's a level where it's just like, oh, it's it's cold outside, bundle up, and then it's like, this hurts my soul.
Yeah.
This is
Breathing
draining.
hurts. Like
Hmm.
it's so cold that when you breathe in, like you feel it, and that's uncomfortable. Yeah.
Uh, what if we when we it's funny because we talk about like a snow day
Mhm.
time when you run your games, do you go by like for the sake of ease, just like a 24-hour clock, that like, maybe not name days of the week, but roughly, equate it to like the normal time and calendar that we would, you know what I mean?
Uh
Would it just be like a day, a sunrise, a morning to morning type of thing? How long would you in game keep them? Or would you give them ways to like go around it? Like, would you like how long would you keep it around? Or would you let them go through its like like, its normal like conclusion type of thing? Would you go like, all right, they go, they're here, they're waiting for the things to dig out, or just like let it go and until they go, hey, can we get out yet? I don't know, have you tried? You know what I mean? Like
mhm.
how would you take it? Would you keep them until they tried, or just go like, all right, you're here, somebody's dug a path, and then you give them the out? Which would you lean towards?
When I first started playing, there's a town in the world that my dad created for us when we were playing in high school. There's a town called um Hicksdam, which is like way far in the north. It's in the mountains. It's not like a big town. It's like this tiny little town that used to be a mining town, and then like the mines went dry, and like they're just still there. Um, but one of the primary reasons that it was like still around was that there's like a tiny little pass through the mountains that you can access from Hicksdam. But it was only open like certain times of the year because it would get like frozen shut essentially. Um, I could absolutely see a party being like, we need to get to this place like past there out in the waste. And they get to the town and like the pass is frozen shut. And so the question is like, do you stay in town and wait for the pass to reopen?
Like everybody else, or do
However
you?
long
Yeah.
that's gonna be, or do you head out? Do you like try and traverse the mountains? That's going to be really dangerous. Like, what do you do? Do you just turn around and go back and like, well, we tried. Like, there's options. I would think for myself personally, I think I would probably have I'm really torn. I think I would do a situation where I would let the players just kind of go and
Hmm.
like see how long they just if they were in the town, they're just staying in the town, I would just let that play out. And I think I would let them sit there for I think 3 sessions
Mm.
of them just like sitting there and doing stuff around the town. And
Hmm.
if they hadn't made any effort to like find another way through or like check on like when it's going to be thawed or anything like that, I would provide information. Um
Would you do any nudges? Because I know I'm very generous with the, "Hey, you know this.
oh
You
yeah, there would
remember
be
this. You know what
I
I mean? Because
would
like, oh, why
I
don't you
would give
remind us
them
that, the person
checks,
was on fire?" It's
and if
just
they
like,
ask
eh,
people, absolutely.
mhm,
But like the way I look at it is like anybody who lives there knows the schedule of like
mhm,
when the pass is going to be open because they need to.
yeah,
So like if they ask anybody, they'll be able to tell them.
yeah,
Um, so it to me is a like in that situation is
mhm,
a very easy one for them to find that information. If it is something where it's like uh this is like a freak storm that has like gotten them stuck in town and they just
mhm.
need to determine how long it's going to be until like they are able to leave. um I would give yeah, absolutely. I'd give them a check for it, or if they like talk with people in town, they can be like, "Oh yeah, we get these storms every once in a while. Like it's probably gonna be a week or two before the main roads are accessible. Like if you need to get out now, we can hook up a one of the sleighs, get you some reindeer, send you out there." Like there are ways to like traverse it, but I think I would put the responsibility of like figuring out how to leave on the players themselves. I think that is an important element of a game like that of like
Mhm.
y- one of the it's not a puzzle, but in a sense it is of like it is a
Yes,
problem that you have to solve.
correct. It is
um
something you have to over, yeah, mhm,
and it's like you could do that by just like flat like we're gonna go shovel our way through this, or like just the wizard is going to be out front just firebolting snow, or like there's a variety of ways that you could go about it. Um, but like how you do that, I think is up to the players. I think that is a valuable part of that. Um, Also, just because you had asked about it, in my world, I do actually have a calendar with like
Okay, yeah.
the days of the week and like the months and all of that, and have like all of the different like stuff laid out on there. And my favorite, I use there's fantasycalendar.com.
Hmm.
You can like fully customize it. You can put in like the moons and like what their offset is, and it will generate out like what is the phase of each of those moons, like what is the weather today, what is the
Oh,
like
that's pretty dope. Yeah.
everything. So like if I go in there right now, and say like what is today, the 19th. So we'll say the 19th of the first month of the year is a would be Drazis is the day of the week. Zatir is the month. The weather is chilly with a temperature of 33 degrees Fahrenheit. Calm wind with less than a mile per hour. No precipitation and no clouds. But I can see that like every day on my calendar, I can like pull up and see what that looks like.
Okay. I know I would run into the trap, and I've this has happened to me more than once, where if I'm describing the the scene or the weather in such a way, I make it like, you personify things, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So, when I was saying like, "Oh, is the snow is the weather natural or is it magic?"
Hmm.
I think I know I have accidentally personified something as like evil, malevolent, oppressive.
Sure.
Like I
Sure. Sure.
like
Sure.
using that a lot, where it's like the snow is like oppressive or something like that. And then it becomes like it is a fun like watching the debate, but after, it's mean to let it continue to watch the debate of someone's doing this to us. Or
Yeah.
are we
Yeah.
caught in a big storm? You know what I mean? And it is fun for a little bit for them to see like, oh, do we push on? And it motivates them to overcome the obstacle. But it's very easy to fall into the trap of like, it's like, all right, perception checks, everybody square up, like start. I'm gonna ready a spell because they think they're being trapped in a spell or something like that. Because they'll think like, oh, we're actively being this is an attack. This is like, targeted. And
Right.
maybe it
Well,
is, but is it on them, and is it something they can do right now?
and
So it's like you have to
especially
be
if
careful with how
weather
you
isn't
describe the yeah,
especially if weather isn't something that you incorporate into your games a lot.
correct, yeah.
Like if the first time you've ever mentioned weather is there's a terrible snowstorm and it like locks you
Mhm.
down and you're unable to
And they were
move,
on their way to
and their
do
way to
something,
stop something like
yeah,
that immediately is going to like set off alarms of, oh, this is a thing that is being done to us, we are being
correct.
prevented from moving forward.
That
It
bird up there, I see a bird, I'm gonna take it down, I know it's a scout, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's they're gonna start being paranoid, and
it's
unless that's your vibe,
right.
you
If
know
that's what you're going for, amazing way to incorporate it.
correct, yeah.
But like one of the reasons that I will not every time, but I will occasionally like, okay, you guys like had your watches during the night. Like during third watch, the like it started to rain a little bit. It's kind of a gross day today. Like, or you guys get up in the morning, you look outside and there's this thick fog that has rolled in. Like stuff like that. I'll just drop like little bits of weather information. And like my players can always ask for more detailed information on stuff, but like giving a little bit more to like make those days have a little bit more depth to them, ensures that when you have a situation where like you want to use the weather as like a part of the game, it's not immediately suspicious, because weather has already been included and stuff, and you can then use it, and your players can use it as like something that they account for. I had players that, I said that it was a really foggy day, at the beginning of the day, and so later in that day they were like, is it still foggy? And I was like, yeah, it's like that fog is still kind of lingering. And so they asked if they could get like advantage on stealth checks because they were like sneaking through the fog. And I was like, yeah, like sure. If you want to like capitalize on a natural element, that just encourages your players to be like paying attention and asking questions about like what is going on in the world besides like what is immediately surrounding them.
I almost wanted to do this thing real quick, but I wouldn't want to put you on the spot like this. But I was gonna tell you to go to your D&D Beyond account and
Okay.
just tell me if you had a level like 11 character. Well, hmm,
Level 11.
yeah.
Let's find out.
This is
Probably.
I did the math wrong, but it's funny. It's still funny to describe this thing. Because would you for a snow day, if we're thinking about like it's a snow day, and
I have
I
a
like
level
that you put
12.
sure. Um, putting distinction of like are they like at camp and are they like in a town or something like that?
Hmm.
And I think a snow and this like tell me this is just like when I think of like a vibe, or like the general like where it looks like it would lean. It would need to be somewhere where it is like a solid established place, right? Like a cave, a town,
Hmm.
or do you think it could be something that's like temporary, like woods or like a path or something like that, and they're just stuck outside it? Like, how do you think?
I
What do
think
you think there should be? There should be like a path guideline or a general like idea of how something like that. When someone says snow day, what comes to mind for you? Is it more of like you are snowed in, or is it just like weather hits hard this day and impacts the game?
I think that it is more impactful if it is a location that they are stuck in and can't leave.
Hmm.
That like if it's just they're in the woods in their camp, like
Hmm.
at that point their options are either keep moving or
Yeah.
like probably die in your camp in your woods. Um, if it is if it's a town, it opens up a whole lot of possibilities. If they had like found a cave and are snowed in the cave and like the cave is sealed off, that opens up a whole lot of problems that they're gonna have to figure out. But like you could do a cool underground thing of them having to like find their way like through underground passages in the cave. That's pretty cool. Um, like there's things you can do. I think for me, uh, in the spirit of snow day, it feels the best in a town. I think that that makes the most, or like it doesn't necessarily need to be a town, but there should be like other people and like some form of structures. So it could be like a larger camp or like
Yeah.
a town or like
So you could still have locations. So it's not like it,
yeah.
I end up being like in the same spot because I, a lot of things hilariously just kind of end up that way. I don't try to keep people in the same spot, keep them
Mhm.
from moving, but then it'll be like we'll reach the hour and a half mark of the break, or we'll reach the end of the session. I'll be like, y'all moved 3 feet. So it's just like you don't want to create the I'm trapping you here type of
Right.
thing, giving them like you could breathe, you
You
could
all
move if you need to.
right. There needs to be something that they can do there if they're not interested in just trying to leave.
Correct. Yeah.
I think that's the key is if you are locking them down in a location, and the obstacle is figure out how to leave, there needs to be
Mhm.
something else for them to do. Otherwise it's just like figure out how to get out of the snow,
Yeah.
which is fine if that's all you want to do. But if you are looking for them to be like invested and incorporated into that story, um, you need to have something else for them to be able to interact with and do besides just the snow.
Yeah. And there there's always going to be people like there everybody has different ways of how much they like to prep or anything.
Hmm.
If you're somebody that likes to like prep very little, you still want to create the illusion that
Sure.
there was a lot of, you know what I mean? You can quote unquote railroad, type of situation, but it doesn't have to be like, oh, you can only go over there.
Right.
Take your bullet point, your note card, whatever it is, and just move it over there type of thing. But you can go, you can expand things to create that like there's choices and things like that. Um, Once again, watch out for the trap of describe it, getting too into your descriptions, and then creating making a dangerous chair. You know what I mean? Where it's just like you have created this is like, it's like, oh, there's an old man shoveling snow, and then you create like the old man from Home Alone, how like Kevin believes
Yeah,
that he's
yeah,
like a
yeah,
monster killer. You create that. You know what I mean? So it's just
yeah.
like you have to like putting flavor and description stuff like that, and then making your your players paranoid. And it's that
An
if you
important
especially if you don't
distinction.
use winter a lot. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But I was just the reason I asked you about the character earlier is because I know you said you didn't play Icewind Dale, but like have you like used winter settings like a lot?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Not
Um
extensively, but like I have used them.
do you have like a go-to creature, or have you reflavored a creature to like be appropriate for that type of
Oh,
type of
for a
setting?
snowy space.
Yeah, yeah.
Remmerhaus. Remmerhaus is my favorite like icy monster.
I
Um
literally have an encounter up where I was just like, I looked up Emros, that's a challenge rating of 11, and then I was like, well,
mhm,
that doesn't math because if it's an 11 character, it wouldn't do that. But a young Remoraz is like the right sweet spot of a middle
mhm.
ground, and then if you use a young one, then you can like parents. But no, same here.
Yeah,
Aside from ice methods,
ice methods
Remoraz is
obviously
is
are a great
yeah,
option as well. You've got the
yeah.
like the iconic like the snow giants and stuff like that are great. I love the Remmerhaus because in one of my first campaigns that I played in the like snowy area to the north when we were traveling through there, we had to fight them, and it was just a really intense fight. And I remember in that fight, after it died, because like they have that like crazy heated core thing with like
Hmm.
the like all that
Yeah.
stuff. After that fight, we like we harvested like everything we possibly could from the Remmerhaus. And I don't know if it's I haven't read over the stat block in a while, but I don't
Hmm.
remember if it is a core part of the Remmerhaus or if it's just like additional lore that my dad had added to them. But for our game, Remmerhauses, they eat gemstones, because the gemstones don't break down in the like the acid of their system, and the gemstones like help break up other food, and so when we killed them and we were like harvesting everything, we also got like these gemstones that we pulled like out of their stomachs, which was just a additional little reward that was like very useful to us at that time.
It doesn't
But
have it in the thing, but also Remoraz is read by Matt Mercer in the when you click on D&D Beyond to like hear the pronunciation of the creature. It's like it's just Matt Mercer, Remoraz, Remoraz, and it's just like, oh, I forgot he does most of these things.
yeah, it's him and oh man, why am I blanking on name? Marisha Ray. Marisha Ray does a bunch of them as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um
Oh wait, what's this? It's a. Oh, I thought it said something about it because I was just like, oh wait, here's the thing. But no, that makes sense, and also it's like adds that fun monster hunter element where it's
mhm.
just like using the creatures and stuff. Um, whatchamajig, I know that there was it really got me into doing this. Icewind Dale had like 3 kobolds in a trench coat, and it
Yeah.
was just like them in a winter coat.
Yeah.
But then it had like weird things where it had like no vampires and no
Hmm.
vampire kobolds. And then it got me into like creatures that aren't wintry but like can survive there type of thing.
Yeah.
Um and train of thought, man, train of thought. This led me to this. Uh that whatever if you look up, I think it's where, I don't know if it's where bears, where polar bears, but they had a weird polar bear in in Icewind Dale,
Yeah. It's a
and
Goliath,
it
right? A
was
Goliath werebear.
maybe all I know is that I don't know if it was my like role playing like, oh, that's just how I did it, or yeah, Goliath werebear, yeah. It was my like how I portrayed the character, because it was like supposed to be like an NPC that was like not a god but like almost like an urban legend type
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah. Like a
But
folk hero type person.
yes, this Goliath werebear looks super chill for some reason to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
No,
it looks super
I
chill,
know
and
the
then
picture you're talking about. He
yeah,
looks like he's gonna be like, "Oh, hey man, what's up?" Like
yeah,
he has what I would classify as like Kronk vibes of like
yeah,
Kronk from
yeah.
Emperor's New Groove. He looks like he's gonna be voiced by Patrick Warburton.
Uh, hilariously enough, I think when it described the Goliath werebear in like the adventure, like the NPC, I think they personified it as a she her. So it was like a kind of like a Brienne of Tarth, but like imagine like a surfer Brienne of Tarth.
Nice.
Uh, so but it doesn't say anything about it in the stat block of her having a fishing pole, but the picture does,
Yeah.
right? And this is just real fast, like this is one of those like stories that like it's eating away at me now it's here, this chain of thought. It gave me the opportunity to it was a teachable moment for a player, where they like, it was snowstorm, they were trying to get to somewhere, and they saw something in the snow, and they went to go investigate it, and it was this creature. And the snow kind of parted around it a little bit, kind of like it can walk through, and it's like, let's say like the storm didn't affect it as much, so it's
Hmm.
like they got close to it. So at first they thought it, like, oh, you're the evil it's doing it. It's just like, no, the frost maiden knows not to really mess with me type of thing. um uh and I made it very clear that this person is just very chill, potential ally, but not a
Yeah.
threat.
Yeah.
But I had a player that was one of those I have something to prove type players. So
Every table eventually has one.
they were like, I want to fight them. But they were trying to be friendly about it. They were
Hmm.
like, oh, can we have a sparring match? Can we have a duel? Can we have something, like just very whatever. And they had a high enough persuasion check type thing. And I was like, okay, I guess. Yeah, let's make this happen. And then they slowly became more and more surfer vibe. And I was like, I don't want to use a great axe. And then I looked at this, and I had this Goliath werebear beat, absolutely just beat this guy with a fishing pole. Um, but then I was like, then their like ranger was like, I'm gonna try to help them from a distance with like, and he just like went into the distance and longbowed, and then and they missed, right? And then I got anime, right? Then I got real anime, because then I was like, yo, y'all don't realize that y'all are like wasting time right now. So then I did some anime crap where the arrow that missed, I had them take the arrow and take the fishing pole
Hmm.
and kind of like hook the hook to the bottom of the fishing pole and use the damn
As a
fishing pole
bow.
as a, yeah,
So
and
good.
launch it back and hit him with his own arrow, and then continue to beat the guy with the fishing pole. And I was just like, I'm playing fast and loose right now, but these guys are like wasting a lot of time here.
Yeah.
It was just like,
I
you're
had
turning this
a
into a winter debacle.
I had a enemy at one point that was had used like a chain weapon, and like he's very very skilled with it, like in melee. But if somebody gets too far away, like there's only so much you can do. And uh what I ended up having him have was he could launch the weapon out, and so he would like launch it and grab people and pull them in to give him like some battlefield control. And yeah, I thought that's what you were gonna say with the fishing pole, is they just like cast
No,
hook
that
onto the person and pull them into the battle.
no, because they wanted to like really fight, and the ranger was smart. They was like, I'm gonna go real far away, and kind of
Hmm.
like he was a cat, so it was almost like a snow leopard
Yeah,
situation. And he
that's
was like, it
cool.
was real smart. But then I was just like, this guy's getting annoyed now. This
Right.
swear bear is getting annoyed. I need to shoot a ranged attack of some sort. But you know what? I'm just gonna use this, and I'd always try to apply the same rules in my head,
Hmm.
and I never I need to do a better job of communicating that to people, where it's like if it can be justified with a logic and we can all share the same logic, it's good. So
Sure.
they're not proficient with it. I took away like a proficiency bonus, and I was like, they rolled with, it was like it's not like it's a janky move, but you can do it. And it's one of those things where if it's like if you can explain it a certain way, use a resource, or something like that, you can kind of make it work.
Hmm.
Uh, so it's like using survival checks. I always like let like people do like, oh well, if it's not that one, could you justify something else, and how would you spin it type of situation.
Sure.
Um, I know we need to
It's
go
the
into
it's the whole like make an athletics check. Can it be acrobatics? Like
yeah. It's like how are you parkouring it? Yeah.
make a justification for me.
Um, we need to go into one day magic messing with magic, because I saw something the other day that I instantly wanted to apply to a game
Hmm.
like this specifically, where there was like let's say like waist deep snow, and the person was holding out their hand and melting the snow
Hmm.
as they were going. And I instantly thought, how much of a resource would that be expending?
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because it's not like Firebolt where it's like you're rapidly firing, boomps of snow. But it's not like burning hands because that's like a burst. So can you let a player not hold a spell for like, I want to hold burning hands for an hour,
Sure.
but essentially do that thing where it's like I want to burn the spell slot. I don't want to do damage, but I want to use this effect for like a prolonged period of time type thing. Like modify a spell, you know what I mean? And it's like, how can you modify what you have, whether it's like using a fishing pole as a bow and arrow to be resourceful when you don't have access to a lot of things because you are snowed in, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's like then it turns into like that resourcefulness that you're going to push people into. And magic that I want to go into a big old magic thing because I know I want to talk about witchcraft at some point. But it's neither here nor there. Um, but did you ever see the? It was an adventure they had on D&D Beyond where it was for the Frozen North right before Icewind Dale came out. But it was with an Ublex.
No, I don't think so.
It was it was kind of like what you described of like going into a town and it's being chill and stuff like that. But an Ublex, like a like a big Ublex had already taken over. So most of the people had already been like like Invasion of the Body Snatchers type of situation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
it's just kind of like figuring that out. And it's just like, oh, this tavern's really nice, stuff like that. That one person seems a little freaked out by everybody, but everybody else seems really nice. And then slowly, the slow realization was like, everybody's a monster,
yeah.
like everybody is possessed, type of thing.
That's fun.
But
I
like it
like that
made
a
me think of
lot.
like a non-winter monster, how it would survive, and like that's how it would stay warm and how
Hmm.
it would spread out. Uh,
Oh man, the thought of a monster using like uh all of the townsfolk's body heat to warm itself is like
exactly, yeah.
terrifying.
Um, and I'm writing down topics for next time because we do magic discussion. But there's a show, and I feel like somebody put it in our Discord, one of our Discords. Um, a Netflix show. Did somebody put something Dungeons in Delicious or Delicious in Dungeons? Did you see somebody post about that, or am I making this up?
I do not know. It doesn't raise
I
any
could have
bells for
sworn
me.
I know somebody in the Discord put it up at some point, but it's an anime on Netflix where it is D&D, like heavily D&D whatever. They they put budget into it, and I'm surprised. You could tell they had to, like, instead of a rogue, I think they put like a pickpocket, or they did like a turn pocket, I think the way they worded it. But it's clearly like there is a warrior, there's a wizard, there's a rogue, and then they get like a dwarven barbarian. They go, one of their party members gets eaten by a dragon, and they have to retreat out, but they want to go back in because, oh, dragons go to sleep after they eat for a month. I
Oh,
need to
okay.
go save one of the party members was a sister. So it's like, I want to go back in there before my sister's digested. So we got to go back into the dungeon, back into the labyrinth, go down the floors to rescue my sister before she's digested. We don't have any money for food. And one of the guys has a cookbook on how to eat monsters. And it's he's like gonna do it. And so they're like, we'll hunt on our way down and eat monsters on our way. And the other people in the party are not down for that, except for their newly acquired dwarven barbarian who has a battle axe but a giant walk on his back. Because he's like, this is how he survives.
Right.
And it's them cooking basilisks and other things
That's
and making it
awesome.
look really good.
I
Yeah.
love that.
The one that was super cool, and I don't want to spoil it in case anybody want to watch it. But they encounter living armor
Okay.
at one point, and the one guy, the one warrior is like obsessed with, like, it's like, I wonder what that would taste like, and everybody's like, stop trying to eat everything, like, it's whatever. But he's like, oh, I wonder what living armor would taste like. Have you eaten living armor? It's like, it's metal. Like, no.
Yeah.
He's like, what about the leather? He's like, have you tried eating leather? No.
Yeah.
And I will say that the guy, I'll tell you after this, but so I don't want to spoil it on stream. I will tell you how this guy does eat living armor, because it is such a unique take on the creature,
Nice.
and I don't want to spoil it because it's a big curveball, but it would be, I would love to all like go into like survival mechanics of how a monster adapts and stuff like that. But Hunter, before I get too tangenty, do you, because just, I'm like, oh yeah, that and this, train of thought and word association. Um, what winter themed things would you, for like the way we do like a beach episode, or like there's usually a boon, like they get something, like almost
Yeah.
like a commemorative, like, hey, this happened, and tomorrow snow day. If we were to go, whether it was like positive, negative, they had to, like, it's still something I know I would probably still have something to go, like, winter themed. What sort of boon item, um what would you gift, what would you like have players discover on, like, during a snow day adventure? Would you have like um I think my favorite, like, winterized, like, anything was, I had somebody take white dragon scales, and make like a choker out of it, and he
Mm,
was like a bronze dragonborn, but when he, like, focused on the choker, he could make his breath ice.
that's cool. I like that.
And if he ever encountered another dragon and added the scales to it, it would almost, like, it would give him the versatility of, like, I can use the other elemental breaths. You know
That's
what I
pretty
mean? So
cool.
that was
I
like,
like that a
I
lot.
gave him like a winter choker type of thing.
Hmm.
But what do you do? What would you do if you had to, like, a snow day item you had to give somebody?
So, what immediately popped into my head is a mug of endless hot chocolate. Just
Okay,
an
yeah.
enchanted mug that, like a decanter of endless water, or a alchemy jug or something like that, where like you can refill it with hot chocolate. That's just a little nonsense item. It's a fun one that can be like utilized in different ways. The There's the classics of like a ring of warmth, or like
Mhm.
you just give them like really like fluffy winter jackets or something like that. I think especially if the party is like on foot when they get there. I think the like giving them a sleigh with reindeer or something like that is like a very fun reward at the end of it, because it's not necessarily something that players want to spend gold on, but like
Hmm.
it is a fun thing for the party to have. Um Especially if they're going like farther north into an area where like it's going to be it's going to be uh snowy still. Um let's see here.
I found something that is not like your mug, but it made me think of this. There was an Adventurers League. They would give out items and stuff like legacy awards,
Sure.
where it's like, oh, if you go to like another game, you'd be like, you have this item, almost like a certificate, like to prove you're not just
Mhm.
coming in with like a flame tongue dagger for the sake of it. Um, and one of them was a magical slushy grinder, and it was like, imagine like a snow cone machine where it's like it has like a bulbed top,
Mhm.
and you dump snow in there, but whenever you dump snow into the top and like crank it or whatever, it would produce 5 gallons of sweet lemon flavored slush. And once it's used, it ceases to function until the next dawn. But you just make 5 gallons of slushy. And I like that it says lemon
It's
flavor.
the
It's not
fact
like
that
a
that's
alchemy
a
judge where you pick.
yeah,
Yeah.
the fact that that is a like an official Adventurers League item is hilarious to
Hmm.
me. Um, I what about like do you ever have you ever seen they use them a lot for like dogs where it's like like a little handle with a cup on the end of it, and then you put like a tennis ball in it and you just whip it to like
Yes. Yeah.
throw it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine something
Hmm.
like that but for snowballs, where you like scoop the snow and it just becomes a snowball in it, and then you whip it, and it acts as a +1 projectile.
Oh. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay. That's really good. It would almost be like there. It's that thing where you describe where things are described as, when you make a +1 sword, is it +1 because it is so well made, or +1 because it is magic? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's one of those
For me
things
it can
where,
be either.
yes, and that's why I like it, because depending on how you flavor it, you can go like, it's like, oh, maybe this lets somebody that's magical do something physical, like, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Or let somebody that is physical, it's like, all right, I'm a warrior, I'm can't do this. So it's like, well, this lets you cast snowball, but you
Mhm.
you have to actually scoop and do it. You know what I mean? Like bonus
Mhm.
action scoop to load it and then launch it with an actual thing.
Mhm.
There's a
If you wanna make
Avatar
it
The
real
Last
you wanna
Airbender.
make it real crazy, you give it a set number of charges per day, and
Mm,
it can cast magic missile, but all of the missiles are snowballs that it fires.
snowball. Yes.
So you like
That's
you
really
have a
good.
certain number of certain number of like charges, but you have to like scoop snow and then throw it, and the snowball explodes and shoots like smaller snowballs in different directions.
There is uh I'm thinking of, I'm making up a thing apparently. There is a, okay, like imagine like a cudgel, like, you know what I mean? Like it is like some
Yeah.
of the blunt end, right? Because I just imagine like the blunt end of like a machete type thing uh being the scoop. So imagine
Mhm.
like a club or a short sword with a scoop end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and
I
that
like
would
that.
be, it was just like, oh, because then I'm like, oh, well, giving it to like a warrior, it's like, okay, it's just a snowball thrower. It's like, what if it was their weapon? So, because I like doing that multi-purpose thing. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, here's your main weapon, but if you use a bonus action, if you use a resource,
Yeah.
you can.
I'm I'm a fan of that. I like I with the like +1 weapons and stuff. Like I love being like, oh, this is a +1 weapon, not because it's like a regular blade that was enchanted, but this is a dwarven like
Yeah,
hammer that was like
yeah.
made by like incredibly skilled craftsmen, and so it is a +1. This is an elven like scimitar. This is a like whatever, and it's just expertly crafted. I had uh a magic item that I gave to one of my players at one point that was like a magic item, but it's just an expertly crafted hammer. It was this dwarven warhammer, and they had put liquid. I think it was mercury or something. I forget what I put in there. I think it was mercury, because it was like a liquid metal. But I put it in the handle itself. All the way down to the head was hollow, and it was filled with mercury. And when you would like not filled, but like there was mercury in it. So when you would swing it, all of the mercury would go from the centrifugal force would go from the handle where it was out to the head of the hammer and make the hammer heavier. So when it slammed into it, it would hit harder.
Oh, that's really good.
I don't know if the science is correct on that, but I always thought it was also, very, very cool.
Would it also make that noise like one
of the slide tubes?
That's all I imagined. I was just like, that sounds baller. And my reflex to clown it up is like,
oh my goodness, that's so funny. I
just downloaded the thing yesterday. I saw the email. Like I was
imagine a warhammer when you swing it, it just goes.
Yep. Hunter, I've taken way too much of your time, man.
Oh man,
we have a lot of. We gotta make joke weapons. We gotta make.
We can do it. Absolutely.
All right. So joke weapons, magic stuff, and eating monsters. We got a few things lined up for the next few weeks.
Absolutely.
But Hunter, yes. What do you want the calls to action to be for this weekend? If I look at the doc for what's coming up, tomorrow's National Cheese Lovers Day. And National Hugging Day the day after that. What do you just ideas? What do you want to go with?
So I feel like if it is if you have if you have some cheese to hug. No, if you have snow, if it was a snowy day today and you have snow, make a snowman. It doesn't have to be a big snowman. It can be a small snowman. Make a little snow goblin. Make a little snow gremlin. Go full Calvin and Hobbes and make like an army of like little snow monsters. There's a whole wide world of snow creatures you could make, but make some cool little snow creature. And then send us pictures because I want to see them. The second one, it is National Cheese Lovers Day tomorrow. Make sure that you